Welcome back to Bulletproof Mindset, your go-to podcast for health, fitness and entertainment. Today, we're talking about why following an exercise programming is one of the best things, single most important things you should be doing at the start of your fitness journey. Now, I hate saying you should be doing, but this is one of those things. Without following a structure, you're going to hear why you're leaving so much on the table. Now, in the episode, really quickly before we go into it, I have released and launched my first own programming. This is a pitch, right? It's just £12 per week. It's 3 days a week of training for 12 weeks and it's structured into 3 different phases. It's called Bulletproof Strong and all you need is either dumbbells and a barbell. This is something I've been doing with my clients in the small group stuff over the last couple of years, if I'm being honest. And I thought, you know what, there's a lot of people that are looking for structure, so let me launch one of my own. Now, there's a couple of people following this just now and the feedback has been amazing. So if you want to get involved with that, listen to this episode and then make your decision. If you get any questions, then please reach out to me on Instagram at Coach Crosser. But the main thing is, for the main theme of this episode isn't to sell you necessarily on that program. It's to make sure that you are following some sort of structure, because without a structure, you're going to hear why as to why we're leaving so much on the table. So with that being said, enjoy today's episode and I'll see you guys soon. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. So today, as you can see from the title, we're talking about one of the most important things to your fitness journey overall. There's so many different big rocks and little rocks to tackle when it comes to your health and fitness journey. And I thought, what would be the first episode to kick off in January? So back to the previous episode, also we spoke about goals, how to set goals and how to be a part of the top 8% of people that actually achieve them. Well, one of those things that I spoke about there is having a plan and actually having a daily to-do list and structure that moves the needle forward. And the follow-up episode to that is all about following a structure or programming. And I want to talk about this as a whole. I've done episodes like this in the past as well, but actually the more and more I think about it, when I look at my own areas or my own personal development or workout development, should I say, there's been times where I've made progress and there's been times where I've been more or less stagnant. Now, there's nothing wrong with being stagnant. It's just the goals sometimes will shift to other areas of your life. You might be chasing a career promotion, you might be chasing a career switch, and sometimes things come up in life where there's only so much energy you can output. So the goals or the things that you're putting all your energy into shifts. The most important thing that you do is still following some sort of workout, still strength training, resistance training, because that's going to keep you feeling good in yourself. And this is where everyone then falls off. Everyone has this energy that's put into their workouts, and then something comes up and the workouts is like, right, I'll do that later. And then later becomes almost never. It's a couple of days missed, and then it's a week missed, and then it's a month missed, and then you're back out that routine and it's hard to get back into. So for the month of January, I thought I'll do a bunch of, obviously I'll continue the theme of podcasting with different topics, but I kind of want to go back and think about what is the big bits of advice I can give you guys that you can then pass on to your own experience or pass on to your friends, family, partners, etc. that would make the biggest difference when it comes to your fitness goals. The good thing about this time of year is it's on almost every single person's mind that they want to do something with their health and fitness. And that's a great thing. But lo and behold, there's going to be a large chunk of people, almost 80% of people, going off what's happened in previous years, where they make this commitment, they try it, and then they fall off. Now, why is that? Well, there's a number of reasons as to why, and we'll cover that off in a future episode, but the biggest reason that comes out the top of that is, well, there's a couple of things, but one of the biggest reasons for me is the workout structure. There is no structure to someone's workout program, and there's a difference between exercising and actually following a structure. Now, I've exercised plenty of times over the years where I'm not moving the needle forward, and that's okay, as I said, for me, because my goals have been into these other areas of my life. But I'm someone who's very much committed to the fitness space. I've been in the space for 15 plus years, doing it my whole life, more or less. So even when I'm not moving the needle forward necessarily with following a structure and trying to increase my volume week over week, try to get this progressive overload, I am still seeking progress and I'm still committed to those workouts. The problem is when with other people who try to do it on their own, they try to make up their own workout structure, life throws its curveball, and then rather than changing it up or having a fallback plan, it just becomes no plan at all, as I said. So that's what we're going to talk about, the actual importance of a workout structure, a workout programming, and what you would want to consider if you're looking to build your own, but more importantly, why you want to follow one. Now, you can get workout programs for free. You can get workout programs that are paid. You can work with a coach, but there's no wonder why. Like it's fucking hilarious in the bodybuilding space. Someone will work out for 7 years themselves. They'll sign up to a coach. They'll work with a coach for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then they'll see this massive transformation. And then the coach posts the transformation, and it's like before 6 years ago and then after. So then the coach starts reaping all these rewards of this quote unquote transformation or results only by working with a client for 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. That's still fairly new. But the beauty in that story is that we can all reap these rewards. One part is obviously the accountability that the coach then brings in, but the most important part is actually having a structure that is laid out for that individual. Now, structures can be very individualized if you've got these little nuances in what you're looking to go after, but even following I wouldn't say not necessarily generic workout programming, but one that has a goal of getting stronger, they're some of the best programs you can follow. Now, I'll talk more into this in a second about different things, but the value of structured programs, is that whether you're a beginner, in fact, a lot of people think workout programs are just for beginners. Now, arguably, the beginner has more room to go in and sort of do their own thing in the gym and reap the rewards and see the results. But if you're someone that's been working out for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years plus, you are the most susceptible person that is going to gain way more progress by following a workout program than someone who isn't. If you're just going into the gym like, oh, we'll just hit chest today, oh, we'll just hit back today, you're missing out on valuable time. I wouldn't say you're wasting time, right? I never say that. Like, it's good to do that. And I've done it for 5-6 years of my life. And in year 7, I hired a coach and I got my first. In fact, I didn't hire a coach at this point. I bought a workout program. I bought a bodybuilder. We always look to who's the best impressive. And I got this workout program. It was 6 days a week. And I followed that. I followed that to a T. And lo and behold, instantly, almost within week 2, I was seeing results. Now, where this started shifting and I saw even more progress was when I shifted from bodybuilding to a more compound lift structured program. And amazing results that combined lifting weights, compound lifts, dumbbells, barbells. It was just it was a novice feeling to my body, and that volume, the just overall strength that I had, I saw not only drastic changes to my physique, but a lot less volume than what I was doing in these bodybuilding programs. Literally going from 6 days a week of training to 4. I thought I was going to lose all my gains. And then working on this weird thing called mobility, I was like, what is this pish? How am I going to see results on this? But I was like, you know what? Let me quiet my ego. I'm 22 years old. Like, surely there'll be, like, the worst that can happen is I put all of this in and I don't see results. So let me at least try, because it's something that I'm willing to do. And lo and behold, I started being able to hold the barbell on my back, as I've spoken about before. I started to have new range of motion. My hips, not that I had hip pain or lower back pain, but I just felt overall had more energy. And this was all just because I bought a program that was like £15-20 a week. It was genuinely nothing. Now, obviously everything that has a cost on it. Could I have done a free program? Yeah, but all I looked to do was who in the space do I actually admire, who in the space do I like. Let me download it and let me try it, let me follow it to a T, and then from there I'm going to gain more knowledge in this pursuit of, I didn't even know deep down I knew I wanted to be a PT. I never thought I could, but this was the journey, this was the learning path for me. So structured programs, as I said, it's not really, well, it is for beginners, but it's more important that if you're an avid lifter that you're following a structure. And the biggest reasons as to why is because you are not as intuitive intuitive is the word I'm looking for, as you may think. We are, like, I'm a coach, I'm a personal trainer, right? And even if I've not got that structure sitting there, when I go in based off my feeling, I know I maybe need to hit rear delts and I maybe need to do some more back exercises, just because I've done a lot of pressing and I'm getting a bit of shoulder impingement at the front. I'll still neglect that because we gravitate to the things that we enjoy. And it's the whole saying with the guys that skip leg day, right? That's the best analogy to use. Your mate will show up for push, you show up for pull, and then when it's leg day, the excuses start coming out. And then it's back to push and he shows up again, pull. It's not as big of a deal for the first couple of weeks, but the longer that you leave that and the longer that you do your own thing, the more that you're neglecting some of these other areas that sometimes just having that bird's eye view, sometimes having that second opinion on is going to help guide you towards there. So you will always neglect those less enjoyable areas. Now, there's a handful of you guys that enjoy Bulgarian split squats, but there's a massive chunk of you guys as well who hate them. Now, I program them. So when I have done my own programming, I must admit, but that's when I'm testing things. Now, the difference between me, I don't think anyone should do their own programming. I think it should always be done out with. And whether that's you go to someone, or whether it is you download a program, or you buy one online, or you create one yourself through the many different apps that's out there, before I sit, I don't just go, okay, it's Monday, what workout am I going to do? I sit down and I map out a 3-month structure, and I think, what is the goal within these 3 months? What is it that this program's getting put together to build out? And then I always build it into phases, because I think every 4 to 6 weeks something should change within the program, whether it's rep range, speed, tempo, exercises, rest times. There's just so many variables to change, but the main thing is that there is a specific goal within that 3-month time frame. And then we dive into the time frame. Each phase has its own specific target. Each phase has its own specific goal, whether it's, okay, we're doing higher reps because we're trying to build your gas tank, because that gas tank's important because you're trying to compete in a high rocks, for example, or you've noticed that when you do any reps above 8, the feedback to you is that you're out of breath and you don't feel that you have endurance. So using exercises and using compound lifts and using resistance training, because the power of resistance training, everyone should be doing it. And that's about slowly reverse engineering, understanding that. So each phase should be different. And even in each phase, it's like, right, what is the movement patterns we're looking at? What is the exercises that's going to help with maybe some of the niggles, some of the pains, some of the discomfort that this individual's feeling, and then inserting them in, not just to phase 1, but phase 2, phase 3, and also having like progression progression throughout the programming, and then regression options if that person then tries it and then can't do it for whatever reason, so they can swap it out. So the power of programming, it's not just going, oh, okay, it's push. What is 5 of my favourite push exercises? Let me put them together and off I'll go. As I said, that works for the new guys. The new guys in the gym, they can do that. They can be this crab in the gym that just sidesteps from one machine to the other, and they can see tremendous results within a short period of time. Why? Because they're new to it. It's a novice to them. But for you guys who are continuously showing up to the gym and you're sort of doing your own thing, you're leaving so much on the table. Like, it's actually incomprehensible to I don't even know if that's the right word, to explain to you guys how much more results you will see if you follow a structure. And here's why. So some of you guys may have heard of the 4 stages of learning. So this applies to fitness. It applies to any skill that you start to learn. Now, what it looks like is, first stage is unconscious incompetence. Basically not knowing what you're doing, or knowing what you don't know. You're oblivious in this stage. You've got no idea, because you just know that I need to get into the gym. I have no idea what I'm doing. Example we'll use is a beginner going into the gym and they're like, okay, Dale says I have to squat, compound lifts are important, let me get into that. And they squat, their knees are caving in, their back's rounding, form is just way off, but they don't know that it's way off. They just know that they need to squat. And deep down, they're unconscious about it, so they're not aware that anything's particularly wrong at this stage. Now, the second stage is competence conscious incompetence, should I say. And this is where you start to realise that you don't know. So you're in the gym, the example here, the person squatting, and they know that their back's starting to hurt a wee bit, and something deep down doesn't feel right. So they've shifted from stage 1 to stage 2, and they start going, right, go look at some YouTube videos. Oh, there's that person saying keep your knees out. I'll try and keep my knees out now. I'll try and kind of round my back. Well, I know I'm rounding my back. Maybe even the person hires a coach. So they understand that they've got a lot to learn, but at least they're aware of what needs work. So the goal is, okay, I've moved from not knowing what I don't know, now knowing to that my squat's not great and I need my squat to get better. Then we move into the phase that we've probably all experienced here, is conscious competence. And this is the deliberately applying what you know. So you go to a coach, you watch YouTube videos say to keep your knees out, elevate your heels to make it a wee bit more comfortable, work on these drills to open up your hips if you're getting pinches in your hips, lower back's really sore, right, work on keeping the rib cage stacked, the chest up a little bit taller, etc, etc. And that's ultimately that person working from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. Now this is where it gets interesting. So stage 4 is unconscious competence. And basically that is where you start to get experienced. You have done or practiced keeping your heels elevated, keeping that chest up tall so many times that it's just an unconscious effort. You have learned that skill. And after practicing it for months and months and months, it's almost second nature. So you can probably apply that model to everything that you've done in the gym so far. Now here's where it's interesting, right? So the example that we're using here, you no longer are conscious about the cues. You're not having that at the forefront of your mind. Sometimes with some of the more complex lifts that we do, or what we know we need to do when it comes to food or steps, etc., that's not there at the forefront of the mind. It's just a default decision that we end up making. Now the problem with the default decision is there's never a perfect timing. It's almost like an ego response from ourselves to go, right, I know how to do that now, so that's me done it. And truly we need to always bring ourselves back to that conscious incompetence. And a lot of you guys fall within that first phase. You're like, yeah, like you don't know what you don't know. You're just mindlessly working out, and you've been doing that for months on end, and you know that you've seen a bit of progress at the start when you've done your push-pull leg split or you've done whatever it is. But doing your own exercises and doing your own programming will put you in this stage, that first stage, your unconscious incompetence. And you don't know what you don't know. And this is why I'm doing this episode, because it might get you to think a bit differently of like, shit, actually, I'm leaving so much on the table by not following a structure, by not having a program necessarily to follow. Now, the good thing about a good structured programming is that it guides you through each one of these learning stages. And that's why you want to expose yourself to so much. Honestly, if you do, let's say, 8 different workout programs with different specific goals, that's 2 years of your lifting journey. How mental is that? And that is still only scratching the surface on what you can do in this whole world of fitness, trying different things. But the biggest part that I want to highlight is I was in this trap of being unconscious competence, thinking I knew everything because I'd done one workout program from a elite level bodybuilder, and I thought, no, this is good. But when the problem started to arise that I was getting pain, and I was a young guy, not I was getting pain, I felt stiff. I didn't feel good. I may have kind of looked all right, but chasing the sort of muscle building, chasing to get bigger, there was something missing that I was like, this style of training that I keep doing, I think I'm leaving more on the table. And again, I came across a very similar episode, or very similar post, should I say, that I'm doing just now. And this was back 9-10 years ago, and it generally shifted the direction of my overall journey for this this whole fitness game. And I wouldn't have went on to deadlift 230 kilo. I wouldn't be going on to bench and squat heavy and doing all these crazy feats of strength. But at the same time having this, I want to say now I've got more of a balanced physique, and passing that on to my clients has been one of the best things that I've been able to do. So personal trainers, if you guys are listening to this as well, which I know some of you do, expose yourself to different programmings. Like even if you're the bodybuilder, like try and something new in the style of programming, you will learn something from it. Even, I would say that bodybuilding program that I learned, or the first bodybuilding programming, I can look back at that now and go, that was quite shit programming, knowing the expertise that I've got now. But there was still some learning in that. There was exercises that I was doing that I'd never done before, and it was like, right, I now need to learn this exercise. And it put me through these stages where I was like, shit, I don't really know if I'm doing this exercise correct. Let me watch a YouTube video. Okay, they said keep your elbows forward, let me try that. So now aware that I don't know and I need to apply those coaching cues. Then I move into stage 3. I'm consciously working on improving my form. And then lo and behold, that's another exercise added into the toolbox of certain exercises, whether I like them or don't. And throughout the years, that's where you gain the experience. So whether you're someone new to this whole journey or you're an advanced lifter, understanding these stages will help you recognise how you progress through. So no one knows what they don't know, but this is the point of this episode. Bring that to the forefront of your mind. How long have you been in that split? How long have you been showing up to the gym and just deciding on the day what you're doing? Because you're leaving so much on the table. And that brings me nicely on to the next point. So a bunch of episodes, a few months ago, I'll link it below in the show notes. Progressive overload was one of the more popular exercises amongst you guys who are looking to see progress. You can only see progress in this game if you're progressively overloading your lifts, okay? Now, there's about 10 different ways that you can do that. It's not always about doing more weight, doing more reps, doing more. It's actually about structuring and being a bit smarter on some of the things that you want to tackle. If you constantly lift heavy reps, week in, week out, your joints start to hurt. It's just the response is so taxing on the body, and the human response to that is fatigue and breakdown. It generally gasses us out more. So we can only commit so many weeks to that style of training. And this is where people will plan deloads, or my favourite thing to do is actually change up the phase. Because let's say your goal is to lift a heavy 2 or 3 rep max squat, bench and deadlift. Working on your higher rep lifts, so lifting 3 rep max deadlifting every single day isn't going to get your 3 rep max deadlift. There's going to be a drop off point where it will scale up for a couple of weeks, but then it drops off because it's just too taxing on the body. Now, from a programming point of view, introducing a different phase, introducing a different modality of progressive overload, which could be if I'm losing drive from my legs or my forearms, can't quite hold on to this. So spending a bit of time on different exercises that strengthens those areas of your body allows you to go back to that deadlift in 8 weeks' time and feel stronger. There's so many different ways I could branch off with this, but this is where I'm a geek for programming at this point. Addressing someone's goals and working on the things where it's like, well, why do I need to do more than 10 reps? It's like, well, trust me, you want to work on your endurance, you want to run faster, you want to not feel too gubbed after running 1 kilometre. Look what happens when we do 15 rep squats. And it's like, it doesn't always need to be, resistance training transpires and carries over to so many areas of fitness. It's that, like, you could run more, but you don't get stronger in the gym. You could get stronger and introduce more reps to bigger lifts in the gym, and you can run faster. Like, that's the carry that over to any sport, any event, any activity. Resistance training plays a massive part on each one of them, whereas each one of those events don't play a massive part on resistance training. So it's why it's the cornerstone of everything that we need to do. And it's why I love programming. It's generally why I do it, or why I love doing it for clients, because it gets them to see it's like, right, it's not just this linear, like, straight line towards, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, it's all the same. And some people program like that, and there's nothing really wrong with it, as long as volume's increasing. That's the main goal. That volume needs to increase over a 12-week period or 6-week period. But the thing I love about phasing your programming is phase 1, phase 2, it keeps it fresher. Like, doesn't matter how much you love the gym can get very on your low days, it's like, I really can't be bothered doing that workout because you've done it so many times, and that's a sign that you need to change things up. And you almost missed the buck with that. Sometimes, like, I'll change it up maximum 6 weeks at a time with people. Mainly because you get to week 6 and it's like, oh, I'm starting to see the results. Like, right, cool, your body's probably already adapting to that. Let's change it up. Let's go into a new method of progressive overload. And very quickly, you can start to reap rewards, more muscle, more strength, better feeling, more energy, like all the benefits you can reap from resistance training. So if we know that that's important, why wouldn't we follow a structure? Because one of the biggest or the easiest things to measure when it comes to your workouts is volume. Now, if I ask you this question, if you're someone who just goes into the gym, what was your volume for last week on your lifts? You're not going to know that number. And do you necessarily need to know the number? No, but following a structure allows you to make sure that week 1 to week 2, there's a small improvement. And week 2 to week 3, there's a small improvement. Week 3 to week 4, there's a small improvement. And that's the ladder of success. That's the ladder of gains, if you want to call it that. But if you go week 1 to week 2, just farting about, you're not that newbie in the gym anymore. So you're not going to see those results. Now, arguably, the shelf life of when you don't see results is a lot longer than what I'm making it out to be. If I'm full transparency here, doing that is definitely better than doing nothing, right? But if you're not in the gym for a social aspect, you're not in the gym just to, like, the gym can be much more than just progress or building strength and building muscle. Maybe mentally you're in a dark place and it's just getting into the gym and doing your thing and farting about. Do it, right? Like, all power to you. Like, definitely better than sitting about and being in the 4 walls of your house where you are struggling to be alone or whatever the reason may be. It's still good to get into the gym and get your blood flow going and get the heart rate elevated, get a pump on, etc. The next stage to that, though, is that a lot of you guys are going to be setting goals. A lot of you guys are going to have big ambitions for your fitness goals this year. It'll be a lot harder to hit those goals if you don't have a structure to follow, right? And that's why you want to make sure that you're either reaching out to a coach or you're writing down, and just, even if you write it yourself, if you're someone that maybe is a geek for it like me, map it out for the 12 weeks. One of the previous episodes that we done on this, I think it was back when James was with us, I'm sure we laid out how we program, and that's probably updated. If it's an episode that you're interested in me doing, then let me know, and I can talk you through the strategies of what goes in for me when I'm designing a specific workout program for a client, or I'm designing a program for the small group PT, etc. So yeah, let us know if you're interested in that. Now, proper progression is one of the biggest benefits, but the other thing is it's a clear plan. There's no guesswork. There's no, like, sometimes you can get so much in your head if you're doing your own thing. And I've had this so many times. It's like, I'm on week 4 and I'm like, should I really be doing this exercise? It's like, I've not even gave it a chance. Like, you need to give some of these exercises a chance. And some of the, like, you don't see results instantly. We all know this. We don't reap maybe reap some rewards instantly, but it's not until we're 3 months down the line, you're like, fuck, man, I don't have back pain anymore. That must have been because I was doing X, Y, and Z, my mobility drills and my squats and that types of lifting. It's almost this delayed gratification. It's like, fuck, I'm showing up every day to potentially get results 3 months down the line. And there's a great mindset shift with that sort of thing as well. But your plan, eliminating that guesswork, like, it from a brain power perspective, is so much better. You're not spending an hour and a half in the gym one day and then 30 minutes in the gym the next day, and then we all get to this point where, like, I'll just miss the gym today, I'll do my push session another day. Why? Because there's no plan there. And then, as I said right at the start of this episode, life's going to get in the way at some point, and if the plan's not there, then it's very easy to go, right, well, I'll just make up for it next week, I'll just do a wee bit more on this next day, I'll just do whatever. And that's how people lose track and people fall off, because there's no guidance from where that sits. Now, what I'll say on this is there's no such thing as the more the better, within reason. Like, the more the better mobility, but the more the better of exercises and reps. It doesn't quite work that way. It's about finding the sweet spot, and programs allow you to stay within your lane. Now, what I want to talk about is overtraining and undertraining. In fairness, programming eliminates that. A structured program will cut that out. And here's why, right? I don't care. It can be the most shitty written program in the world. and it could be the best program written in the world. Both of them followed consistently to a certain extent eliminates the overtraining and undertraining, right? The shitty program, if it's like a typical high rocks program, it's like run 100k within a week and hit 6 sessions in a week and do double training days. But you as a person have only done a couple. You've not even strung up a consistent week of working out 3 times in a row. So that program for you, yes, it's going to be a wee bit, well, not even a wee bit, it's going to be way overtraining for you. But programming, or a good structured programming followed, allows you to stay within a range. So it's like, you're going into the gym, you're doing X amount of sets with X amount of exercises, and you stay within that lane. And I see it time and time again. It's usually guys, they'll go in, it's like, fuck it, let's just go to failure today. Let's see how much can you bench today? How much can you leg press today? How much can you do X, Y, and Z today? And then they overtrain, they gas themselves out. And that's a fun part of lifting, right? I'm not going to lie, but we're not 19 anymore, right? We're not 18, 19. If you're in your mid to late 20s, like, let's work out a wee bit smarter. Like, this is, and don't get me wrong, it's fun to do when you're meeting up with a friend and all that sort of stuff, but doing that all the time, you're just going to tax yourself more, and you're just going to lead yourself to either get injured or burn out. Injuries are almost worn as a badge of honour just now. Now, injuries can happen at any point, right? But we can mitigate how much we get injured by having a good structured programming and exposing ourselves to the best exercises out there, like our compound lifts, our squatting, our overhead pressing, our rowing, our movement part and lifts with dumbbells and barbells. But your body getting injured is a sign that you've pushed it too much. You've done something that, unless it's been a fall, you're playing sport, you're obviously exposed to that way more. But if you're the average person and we just go about our day-to-day lives, there shouldn't be a need for us to get injured. And if we get injured, it's because we pushed through and we've overreached from where we were at. That's another reason to buy into why you want to follow a program. Now, on the other side of that, underreaching. There is a large percentage of people out there who, you go into the gym, you do the same 3 exercises for sets of 10, and because you saw progress at the start, you think, okay, that's what I need to keep doing, and you've plateaued. You're not scratching the surface or reaching anywhere near of where you need to be. And that's why if you have that structure, progression needs to happen from week 1 to week 4. Even if you undertrain on week 1, by week 2 you need to do a wee bit more. And if it's properly laid out over a 3-month period, you get to expose yourself to all these different things. So it's not always, even for someone who's scared to lift heavy weight or do more reps, some of the factors of just changing the exercises and learning a new exercise, that becomes their progressive overload. So that then adds to their volume and builds a overall better character for that individual. And again, that becomes one of the biggest reasons as to why phasing programming is some of the best out there, some of the best that I've experienced for sure. Exploring yourself to new training styles and new exercises, new rep ranges, new rest periods, just exposing yourself to that progressive overload category and getting in the midst of all these different things that we haven't quite considered before. So, last thing I'll say on here, how do you know what is the right program to choose? Well, key things that I look for is, what is the overall message of what this program is pitching to me? Is it to get stronger? Is it to do X, Y, and Z? But the key factors is it phased? So I always want to make sure my programs are phased, because I don't want to be doing the same split for any longer than 46 weeks. I think for most of it, or I want to see progression, and if I'm doing that for any longer than that 46-week window, then I know personally I'm going to get fatigued with it, whether it might not be a physical fatigue, it might be more mental. And this is another thing as well. Science may say it's best to do this, but what we miss with the science side of things is the mentality, the lifestyle, the other things in life, because life isn't just all revolved around the gym. We need to find the balance with that sort of stuff. So can I commit to the workout days? Is it over, or is it phased? And am I interested in? Am I genuinely getting excited for what potential rewards I'm going to reap from this? Now, those rewards might be learning new exercises, learning new styles, entering a new rep range. Maybe is the program specifically designed for the time constraint I have? and that's good enough. Like, I don't know how to work out within 30 minutes, or I don't know how to work out within 20 minutes. And this program's telling me it's a 20-minute workout for time constraint individuals. So I'm going like, right, cool. I'm all in on that. So that's what you look for, and experiment. Every program that you like, a lot of the worry with these things is, but I might waste my money. You only waste your money if you don't follow it. At least give whatever it is that you end up buying, or whatever it is you end up doing, give it the time frame that it's structuring you through, right? Most of them's going to be 10 weeks. Most of them's going to be 12 weeks, maybe even the 3-month mark. Follow it through, and then sit down at the end of it and review. Now, just because you missed a couple of workout days throughout that period isn't the reason you've not seen results. It'll be other factors, but really think about from an exercise point of view. How did it go? Did you enjoy it? What some things that you learned? What some things that you didn't like? And then going forward, if you're going to run the program again, what some changes that you would maybe consider? And that's how you piece together this whole fitness journey. Or that's where, as a coach, I would piece together this whole fitness journey. So at the end of the program, it's like, right, where are we at now? What's the next 90-day goal? What's another program that's maybe interested? What's some things that we tried to work on that we missed over? They're all things that come into my mind. Now, again, as always, like with these episodes, to conclude this episode off, the Christmas special episode, if you never listened to that, then I announced that I'm launching the online program part of the small group workshops that I was doing, which is a resistance training program that is, I've actually built it into 3 different phases over 12 weeks, and it's all free weight exercises. So all you need is access to a barbell and dumbbells, and you can get a pretty damn good workout. Now, this is going to be called Bulletproof Strong, because the idea is to get you stronger. I don't mean strong as in 1 rep maxing. I just mean overall stronger. Your joints, your energy, your feeling towards life, this resilience that you can build. So if you're interested in that, it's £12 per week, right? You're talking about 3 exercises per week. The last phase is a 4th optional exercise, but working out 3 days a week, roughly about an hour, like, it's a good structure. And I generally would have about hundreds of different people in terms of testimonials of who has given me feedback on the style of program and style of structure that I've given to their life. So if you want to get involved with that, as I say, £12 per week, cancel at any time. It's 3 months or 12 weeks, and it's my baby. It's been something I've been saying I'm going to do for a little while. We've done a little stab at it maybe even last year, but I'm happy with how this is designed, and really proud of the product, and had great feedback on it so far. It's also got mobility drills in there. It's got kind of rough step targets. So it's like coaching with me for a fraction of the price, right? Put it that way. And of course, if you get any questions or considerations or anything at all that you're thinking about that, let me know. The link for it's going to be below in the show notes. Check it out. And yeah, if you want to give it a try, then I'd love to have you on board, and I'd love for you to give it a try. If you're not bought into the idea of the structure, like, if the main thing you take away from this, it isn't to sell you on my programming. Obviously, I think I've got some of the best programming out there from my own experience, but the best thing to do is definitely follow a structure. So whether it's mine, whether it's someone else's, get yourself a structure, right? And from there, you'll see so much more results, so much more gain in terms of this overall health and fitness journey that you're pursuing, and it's going to keep you on track, more importantly. Okay, so with that, we'll wrap things up there. Let me know if you're someone who's followed a program before. What's been the highlights? What's been the downfalls? What feedback have you got? And just remember, there's no reason why we shouldn't stand on the giants of others. There's people who've went through these experiences. Personally, I've spent over £15,000 on programs by now, experiencing different styles, experiencing just a wide variety of exercise programming, so that it can make me a better coach. So if you want to get in on that, then that's what I've put in myself. If you want to experience it on your own, go off and spend whatever it is you want in it, follow free ones. Main thing is you follow a program. And with that, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you guys on the next one.